Old school blues guitar master Buddy Guy has this great groove on his song, What Kind of Woman Is This? It's funky, in the pocket, and in the key of E, a great guitar key. So if you like jamming over blues grooves, then I think you can have a lot of fun with this one. Check it out. It starts out with this riff going from an E chord to an A chord. So we're in the key of E, and we have a progression moving from 1 to 4, which would be an E7 to an A7. Now, one of the things I love about this riff is you have some single note, kind of bass line picking a riff, but then you also have a backbeat groove mixed into it. So a lot of Motown and great pop tracks back in the day, the guitar is just playing what's called a backbeat, which is where you play on beats 2 and 4 like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you're just hitting that often a lot of times with the snare drum, playing with the drummer, and so you can just lock into the rhythm section. Now here we're going to start by hitting the low E bass note and then that backbeat strum. Now you want to keep those short, like a snare hit, like just crack, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you play the chord and then you just release it, like. Then you go to this riff. I love that there. So that's the 7th fret of the low E. That's the note B. Then you walk up D, D sharp, E, then D, B. Come back down. So that's a chromatic walk there, meaning you're going up in half steps. So that's the basic pattern there. So it's going to go 1, 2, and 3, E and a 4, and... So we're using a combination of rhythms. It starts out with a quarter note, 1, then this staccato 8th note, 2, and then 2 16th notes here on beat 3, 3, E, and then that's an 8th note on and of 3, and then 4, and... So all together, 1, 2, and 3, E and a 4, and that's the funky part, right? Where you get this like 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now, Buddy Guy is versed in the blues language. A lot of times in a blues, you would have a shuffle feel, right? Like, but this doesn't have a swing feel to it. It's actually even 8th notes, and then you've got kind of a funky 16th note groove. So you can hear that in the bass line when you go like 3 E and a 4, and there's this underlying rhythm of like 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4 and... So that's the basic idea. Now sometimes he'll slide in like, right? And that can add a nice effect. If you want to be able to figure out your favorite songs and hear notes and chords on recordings and be able to just go to your guitar and pluck it out right away, then I want to give you a gift that's going to help you with this. And what it is my free ear training cheat sheet. Just go to johnmcclennan.com/goldenear and you can download this right now as my gift to you. And these are the exact techniques that I use when I'm figuring out songs. And it's how I've been able to put up thousands and thousands of song lessons on the internet. So just go to johnmcclennan.com/goldenear and grab that as my gift to you. Now from there you go to the 4 chord, which would be A7. Okay, so you do the same idea, but now just based on the 4 chord. So A7 here, I hit the bass note, then I do that backbeat strum, then that's the 7th fret on the 5th string, the note E, then I walk up G, G sharp, A. Again, we're walking into the root of the chord right there with that riff. Same thing on E, right? And then come back, G, E. Those are the notes there. And I think of that, I think of that as just coming right out of the Cage system, that box pattern there. So 1, 2, and 3, and a 4, and if you're familiar with the Cage system. So So that's it. You just go back and forth from E to A for the intro. You do it 4 times. Then on the last time you go. And what I did there was just hit that E7 on the downbeat. So 1, 2, and 3, and a 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, then you're back into the groove. And that's where Buddy Guy comes in with the vocal. Now at this point, we follow a very common blues pattern, and these are things that I teach in like my program's Essential Blues Guitar System. And what you do is you just plug the riff into that form. And once you know that form, then literally you can play this song within seconds. So the idea is you play an E7, and then we're gonna go to the A, and then back to E. And that's called a quick 4. So you just jump to that A chord, just like what we were doing in the intro where you go E, A, E, A. So you go E, A, then E, E. Then we go to A 2 times. Then we go back to E 2 times. So what I'm considering one time is just one bar, like this. 1, and 2, and 3, and a 4, and... Okay, and that's also just the whole riff before you go to either the next chord or the same chord, wherever you are in the form. So here's the first 8 bars from when Buddy comes in singing from the downbeat of the form. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Chord. All right, now we come to what's called the turnaround, and here we're gonna play. And we're back to the top. So what I did there was bring in a new chord. Now this is a B7. This is also called the 5 chord. It's a perfect 5th away from E, or 7 half steps. And the idea here is 1, and 2, and 3, and a 4, and we play the same riff as A, but it's just shifted up. So we do it 1 time, then drop it down, then come home. So this is a blues, again, in the key of E, and when I say home, that's like the home chord. That's where you've landed, and you know, once you start training your ear, then you can identify where home is, and you feel that resolution. Like if I go, right? That right there is home. So let's put it all together now. I'm gonna play through the form 1 time, and this is disregarding the intro. So the intro is sort of its own thing. It's just a little vamp, and that does come back throughout the song. A lot of times, like especially at the end, they go back, the intro becomes the outro, and it just fades out with them just jamming the 1 to 4. So these are things that you want to be able to hear, but it's tough to hear and it's easy to get lost if you don't have the proper training and your ear can't pick out where you are in the song. So let me play through the form 1 time, just the main progression, and this is from right when Buddy Guy comes in singing "The Gates of Heaven Must Be Open." Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chord. Five chord. 4 chord. 1. From there, you can play all kinds of improvisations and jams over this using the blues scale and blues vocabulary, things that I stress players learn all the time. Here's an example of that. So have fun jamming on this groove, and if you need help being able to put it all together, those are the parts of the song, but if you're getting lost or you're struggling with being able to improvise, then go to johnmclennan.com/golden-ear and grab my free ear training cheat sheet. Once you start training and putting the right steps in place, then playing your favorite songs and being able to just jam right along with Buddy Guy gets a lot easier. So just go to johnmclennan.com/golden-ear and grab that as my gift to you. As always, thanks for watching, and if you like this video, I think you'll really enjoy this one next.